Um, so those of you that joined me for the event last year, 11/11, which was called Shift into the Light, you may recall I spoke about there was an anticipated solar event, and this was flagged by a hypnotherapist called Alison Coe, and I'll include a link after I record this for you to check out the video I'm about to speak about. In this video, because she'd had so many of her hypnotherapy clients when they were in a state of hypnosis, all describing the same event in the future, a solar flare event that was so strong, it knocked people to the ground. And she had so many of these clients describing the same event that she recorded the testimony of one of them, and she read the transcript, and that's the link I'll share with you. So the date when she asked this particular client of when this event was expected, he said July 22nd, 2022. Today, that is the date here in Australia, but he was located in the Northern Hemisphere in America. So the real impact is anticipated tomorrow. But if you go on to mainstream media, you'll see there's a lot of fear-mongering about this solar storm that's about to hit us. And they're saying today's date in the Northern Hemisphere, which is the 21st. So, you know, it depends on the lens, which way we look at this. For those of us that are the prophesied children of the sun, which we all are, it's just whether or not you've made that shift, had that ego death and shifted from the lower three energy centers into the heart, and getting your authority from the heart, from the light of the divine speaking to you directly through intuition into the heart. And the children of the sun, those that are said to inherit the earth in the age of light, the Aquarian age, this is wonderful news. You know, this is us getting a huge recharge, a reboot for our collective light. So as much as, you know, fear is being perpetuated, as it always is on mainstream media, and what they're focusing on is the external possible ramifications, which is things like power outages, disturbances to electrical equipment, disturbances to Wi-Fi, satellites being knocked out. But, you know, really, if we think about the technocracy that's being implemented, this is wonderful news to have a lot of that surveillance knocked out and interrupted. So the way that you may have found this energy from the July 15 emission, which takes a few days to reach us here on Earth, affecting you, is disturbances in sleep, extreme tiredness, low energy, lethargy, vertigo, flu symptoms, headaches. And so this is a really good time to be taking magnesium, you know, even rubbing it via an oil into the skin if you have children, if it's easier than taking it orally, and that's certainly the fastest way to take it into the body. But this will really help your nervous system, because this is the part of our body that has to integrate these high frequency light energies coming in. And you'll find that sleep is actually the easiest way to integrate these energies. So if you feel extra tired, like you need to have a lie down and have a nap, don't put it off. You know, let yourself do that and integrate these energies. Similarly, having a bath in Epsom salts, so magnesium flakes, is also really, really helpful. A lot of you, like me, have probably been detoxing prior to this event, whether that was consciously or unconsciously, with the body having flu-like symptoms, to release toxins out of the body, to be able to welcome these new high-octane light energies. And, you know, other ways that we can integrate these energies more easily is to do the tree meditation, which is in many, many philosophical paths, but it's simply sending one's roots energetically from the base of the spine down to the center of the earth to ground. Because the more grounded we are, the more we can, you know, take in more light. If we're ungrounded, you know, we may experience feeling very agitated, nervous exhaustion, being quick to impatience, quick to anger, just feeling like a cat on a hot tin roof and wigging out more easily. So this is a time to really ground. If you want a guided meditation of the tree meditation, I do have that on my website, themoonwoman.com, so you can find that under my resources. But this is a great time to meditate. And if you have the light of the sun, where we are here, there's a lot of cloud cover, and one could suspect more geoengineering. But if you can sight the sun, wonderful to close your eyes and breathe that mana in, that beautiful food for your auric field, your energy system. And if you can't see the sun, you can still welcome that light in. The more that we welcome it in as a blessing rather than contracting in fear, which then shields us, I suppose, with psychic armoring, it makes it harder for the light to come in easily, and you've got more chance of, you know, not having a good ride. So, excuse me, this is, for me, I see and feel it intuitively as the second coming. It is, you know, the herald of our shift into the Aquarian age, being in the God force, the light of the photon belt for the next 2,000 years. The last time we had it was during the age of Leo, which is ruled by the sun. And now we're coming into the opposite sign, the astrological age of Aquarius. And these are the two poles of the zodiac axis when our whole solar system moves into the photon belt. Photons are quantum particles of light. It's a free energy source. Once we're in this light, electricity will no longer work. So if you're, you know, worried about the plans of, you know, the powers that be to instigate, you know, total surveillance, this isn't even possible in the photon energy. So, you know, and in that energy, we, our light expands, our soul light expands. So we experience being in a state of union with the divine very readily, very easily. And this activates the upper chakras or energy centers and awakens our extrasensory gifts. So this is a very exciting time, and what we've been going through has been the transition phase, the dark before the dawn. So yeah, this is a herald of what we're coming into. It's a preparation to help us when we do move into the photon belt, which I do not believe will be this weekend. This is an energetic upgrade to prepare us. And my understanding is this solar injection, this coronial flare, will, my kind of injection, I might add, will shift the group collective energy from being in the solar plexus, so very much ruled by the rational mind, the lower mind, polarizing, being, you know, very much focused on proving through exoteric science everything that is true based on what we can perceive through the five earthly senses, and when we're in the solar plexus, we pursue power because we don't believe love is possible. And when we're in the solar plexus, we are more easily divided because we are in a state of inner division and inner conflict, polarizing and needing to delineate and label and divide things through what the 10% mind can actually rationally digest. And this results to forming judgments and being very polarizing, okay, seeing things as either white and black, good and bad, sacred and profane. So this duality of the mind is what causes conflict and a state of mind that is war. So that's what we're shifting out of. So this is actually a time of celebration, welcoming this light onto the earth. And this shifts the collective into the heart. So from here on in, this is a time when it will become impossible not to follow your conscience, the wisdom of the heart, the voice of the heart, which is the divine speaking to us directly. And this revolution, but with love in the middle, this will be like a ripple out effect, okay, so that we may not see the impact, hard and fast, but over the coming weeks and months, we're going to see more and more people following the voice of the heart. That which compels them is the way of truth and love. So we're shifting from fear to love. That's what this threshold crossing is. So what is the energy of the sun? It is the solar logos. It is the essence of the sacred masculine. So I know the last couple of days I had a sense of feeling bereft at, where is the beloved? Where is the divine complement? And I said at the very outset of this year, I did believe in my heart of hearts that 2022 is when the beloveds would come together. I believe it will be after this event because, and I love this, what they've observed with this huge coronial filament of light that was ejected out of the sun on July 15, and it stretched halfway across the sun. So this is massive, was that it was released in twists. So like our DNA spiraling, okay, like the stairway to heaven that is our DNA, which is why the powers that be have tried to interrupt the God sequence within our DNA because they were so afraid of losing us at this juncture. And us no longer being a free energy source for them. But there was a beautiful spiraling. And how do we ascend? We go deep, which is what we've been doing the last 2 years. And then the energy spirals, okay? If we think about how suns form, stars form, they spiral, okay? So like the force of a hurricane, or the force of the centrifugal spiraling of water, it's a huge force of energy. It's a generating energy. And after the event, what they noticed was 2 bright ribbons, so a dual ribbon of light. And this for me is so symbolic of the coming together of sacred feminine, sacred masculine, the twin serpents of light, which are the dragons of the sacred feminine and the sacred masculine energy meridians, which are activated through initiation when we understand and meet the 7 faces of the god and the goddess that govern the chakras, the energy centers or vortices, the stargates within our energy system. Then those energies spiral up Sushumna, the central pillar within our nervous system, and awaken the God force within to help us awaken and become sovereign beings. So this is a very auspicious gateway. In terms of the timing of this coincides with the sun moving into the sign of Leo, which is the sign of sacred leadership. You know, if we think about the beautiful lion Aslan from the Narnia Chronicles, or the beautiful white lions that have been born onto the earth, bringing the energy of the sacred leader. This is, you know, the birthing of sacred leadership, as it once was during the age of Leo, when, you know, you couldn't hold a mantle of power without first training in the mystery schools to become a high priest or a high priestess. You know, the kings and the queens had to do those initiations, otherwise they couldn't be trusted with power. So this is a time when we're going to see the mantle of sacred power restored after this event. So, you know, this is a time of the hero being activated within all of us, the courage of the heart. And when we each are challenged to cross the threshold, because as I teach, those of you that have read my latest book, The Grail, or are doing the 12 Suns journey with me, this is the stage when the sun moves through Leo for the month of Leo, when the inner hero is called to do the fifth labor of Hercules, the fifth stage on the hero's journey, which is the crossing of the threshold, the stepping into the unknown, trusting spirit. So, you know, light, it brings up the dark. It illuminates our fears. So, you know, you may not have been feeling particularly light prior to this influx. You might find that it brings up, you know, the fears, the demons within that you need to see and heal in order to be one with the light. You know, we can't spiritually bypass and just, you know, it's all love and light. No, it really isn't. Like everything, there is a duality in the lower realms. So we have to journey to integrate that duality, to authentically be stepping into oneness, seeing the teacher, the divine, in both the light and the dark equally, acknowledging the light and the dark equally within ourselves, so that we don't polarize into trying to be pure and scapegoating the shadow onto others who are the messenger of the shadow. You know, those that try to wake us up by saying, hey, you need to look at this. You know, the angry mob will scapegoat, shoot the messenger because there's somebody that evokes our fears, rather than examine the fears that are being evoked. It's the knee-jerk reaction of the uninitiated to try and crucify, to silence, to intimidate, to bully the messenger. But this is a time when more and more people will be speaking the truth in order to restore the light here in a realm where the dark has eclipsed the light for a very long time. So we're seeing the end game of that now. And this is a wonderful time to recharge your light, to welcome this plasma energy in, because what this coronial flare is it drags plasma out of the core of the sun. Now, what is plasma? It is the blue part of a flame, which is the hottest part of a flame. And plasma was the free energy source that was used in the ancient civilized or the advanced civilizations here around planet Earth during the last age of light, the age of Leo. So, you know, this plasma is a beautiful energy to welcome in. There are physicists like Nassim Haramein that is, you know, doing experiments with how plasma can be harnessed as a free energy source so that we don't have to rely on fossil fuels. And this energy, when it hits the earth, it is going to charge up the electromagnetic grid, including the dragon lines, which are the royal energies of the Gaia consciousness herself, Ida and Pingala, the serpents of the solar and lunar energies that reside within the earth, as above, so below. So these are being awakened. And if you know of the interceptions, Rory Duff has been doing a lot of work about this lately with, you know, us needing to gather and meditate on the interceptions of the dragon lines on the earth. The two main crossings are in Ubud in Bali, and oh goodness, I'm trying to remember the name of the place. That's where a lot of people go to do medicine in South America. Oh, blanked on the name of it, so forgive me. But you can also on my website, there's a meditation to awaken the twin serpents of light. That's another meditation that would be great to do at this time. And it's significant that these coronial, mass coronial injections of solar light onto the earth are usually, excuse me, accompanied by polar auroras, like the aurora borealis, which, what is it? Rainbow light, but it extends well beyond the poles. In the past, it has extended all the way to Hawaii. So we're likely to get beautiful big rainbow light shows, which is so symbolic of the awakening of the rainbow tribe and fulfillment of the whirling rainbow prophecy of, you know, at the time when the earth was ravaged, this awakening of all colors and all creeds coming together in harmony, in unity, to restore the earth back to green by aligning with the ancient wisdom teachings and practices. So, you know, this is a very auspicious time, a sacred time, a holy time. So a good time to unplug from your devices and to take sacred baths with candles and deep healing hertz music, a time for journaling, a time for meditation, a time for chanting, for ecstatic practices, even if it's in your own lounge room, for scrying into a fire, for being in the natural elements, the natural world, doing your own sacred ceremonies on the earth. This is a time to welcome and celebrate the light, which is the true ethos of Leo. So I hope that's inspiring. Feel free to share this video, and I will put some links in the description. And thanks so much for joining me. Ciao for now.